What's up, everybody? Casual Tuesday evening. Hope everybody's doing good. I just wrapped up for the day. Really eventful day, man. We got some good work done with the wonderful people over at Watch Mojo. Shout out Watch Mojo. Working on a very special project, which we'll talk about more in the coming future. I don't think we're really going to get too much into it now, but did a very special guest appearance today as well. I dropped into Uncle Joey's joint, of course, the podcast by Joey Coco Diaz. If you didn't know, he's back in full force over in New Jersey with his new show, which you should know. He's had Bill Burr, tons of great guests on, and it was crazy talking to Joe. I mean, always wonderful talking to Joey, but this was a really different conversation, man. You know, we sort of did some reminiscing. We talked a lot about what's going on now, but ultimately, just always good to talk with someone. And I told Joey this off the top of the episode. I'm not going to spoil it, but always good to talk with somebody who gave you a chance, and, sort of got to thinking. But we kept all the mushy stuff for, off the air. Really, we were just trying to have some entertaining talk. And like I said, always wonderful to hop into Joey's universe. So that should be dropping tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern. If it's out late, Michael, we're coming for you. No, I'm just joking. But really, whenever it does drop, really a privilege to be on the podcast. And speaking of Uncle Joey, he's got something exciting dropping because Joey has announced that he's jumping into the world of NFTs, which I'll explain what that is in just 2 seconds if you don't know, but check out that picture of classic Uncle Joey. See, it's so weird. Joey knew me as a kid. I didn't obviously know Joey as a kid. It wouldn't be possible. So this is hilarious for me to see Joey as a kid. If you don't know what an NFT is, by the way, just real quick, an NFT is a file that can be purchased online that is exclusively one file. For example, did you ever hear about that billionaire that bought the Wu-Tang Clan album and he was the only guy with that album because it was a one of one? That's what an NFT is. So essentially think of that as anything else. And the reason I bring this up is because I've been really expanding my knowledge of the entertainment business, but in particular the music business. And it is staggering to me how much things such as NFTs, and I'm not going to give away too much free game here, but things such as NFTs, if you don't know what it is and you're in the music business, get familiar, because it's crazy to me the way that people get so comfortable in current times, current technology. The internet has been around for less than 50 years, right? 30 years. And when the internet first came around, it was inconceivable to people to even conceptualize or picture or even think was a possibility. But now it's in our everyday lives. It's what we use every single day. It's what we rely on. If it wasn't for the internet, I probably wouldn't have a job. So it's insane to think that people would think that something that's only been around for 25, 30, odd years, that would be the only innovation in our lives that we're going to end up using day to day, and that's actually going to integrate into our daily culture as this sort of phenomenon. I mean, to think that it's only going to be one thing, it's sort of ludicrous to me. Like, the internet isn't it in its current form. And I mean, so the point being with NFTs is that it's crazy to see how the crypto universe and all this stuff is coming out. And I know I made the post I put up one time where I said, I like people who trade cryptocurrency but don't spend all day tweeting about it or something. I maintain that, but I don't tweet about it all day, but I probably will bring it up as time goes on because, again, I personally, from where I'm sitting, my new perspective is to be from the future perspective, always trying to look from the future backwards as much as I can. There's very little that you can anticipate for the future, but the stuff that you can anticipate and look at sort of the graphs and the math behind it and compare it to other things that have gone up really fast and then become household things, you can sort of compare and try to get a gauge of that. So not to go off on a tangent about that, but that's really what I'm focused on right now. I want to find the next cryptocurrency before it becomes popular. And then I want to be one of those dudes who 10 years ago was begging you to buy a Bitcoin for $1. And those dudes are millionaires now because they found a way to figure out what the next thing was going to be. So we'll talk more about NFTs as more comes out. It's cool to see some comedians actually jumping into it. One of the coolest things that I think happened this past week was Kiss at the Tribeca Film Festival. I'm sure most of you guys probably saw that. For those of you who didn't see it, Kiss did their first performance back Since the pandemic shut down. Now, Kiss, to their credit, were one of the first to actually shut down their concert tours. I actually did an episode, and it's so funny. Sometimes when I'm going through the channel, doing maintenance and just doing some general sort of housekeeping on the stuff, I'll see these old videos, and the one is Kiss cancels entire North American tour. And I just laughed that a year ago I thought that was news, that a band canceled their tour due to the pandemic. Kiss performed a close to a full set, actually. It was a mini set. Sorry, it wasn't a full set. It was actually a 5-song set. My mistake. We got to keep the information 100% above board here. And there was apparently a shortened version of War Machine as well. But nonetheless, it was a celebration for the upcoming Kiss documentary. To be coming out, a 2-part Kisstory documentary actually on A&E, which I'm excited to see. You know, it's funny to me because they've obviously done the Kiss story a number of times. So, you know, when you go through those videos, it's cool to find the ones that sort of stand out, the ones that are exceptional, because a lot of them can just be very run-of-the-mill, behind the music. We formed, we broke up and hated each other, we banged a bunch of girls, this one guy almost died once, the end. You know, that shit's boring to me. You know, I've already done something talking about my expectations for the documentary, but hopefully, since this is being featured on Tribeca, or at Tribeca, it's being featured on A&E, it'll be a little different from the typical run-of-the-mill stuff like that. We do have a little bit of video from this performance here. Let's pull this up. Kiss in full force. Yeah, looking just like they always have in the past couple of years. Looks like Paul actually has some sort of knee pad on him. Probably wise. But, you know, it's good to see Kiss back. It's good to see concerts coming back, man. You know, I've been very, very quiet about this because at the end of the day, I have not been a frontline worker through this pandemic. I've been working, but not on the front line. And that's the reason that I've been awfully quiet about how much I've missed concerts. But I honestly, after talking to so many musicians, especially through the shutdown, I feel very comparable to how a lot of artists felt losing concerts. Because I never really realized until the shutdown how integral concerts are to my work. Most of my interviews were in person until this. I've gotten really used to this now and good at this now. I could probably like be close to ready for like an actual TV show at this point from doing it like this. But most of my stuff was in person. The photography of the shows, half of my or a third of my catalog, episode wise, also was reviews of the shows in which the photos went with. So I'd never really stopped to think, man, how much live entertainment, like it is that's also my field, you know, to a certain degree. And it was good to prove, you know, if to anyone, at least to myself, that I could do it without that, I guess. Because, you know, I think it's good to look for things that are positive in negative situations. So that's obviously a positive. But man, it hit me hard, you know, and I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling pent up. I want to get the fuck out of my house. So really excited for shows to come back, man. Let me know in the comments, what do you want to see live? Is there a concert? Is there a band? Is there a music festival? What are you really looking forward to getting back to? And it doesn't need to be a live show. It could be your daughter's soccer practice. Whatever it is, let me know, man. I want to hear from you guys in the comments. And glad to have the regular setup back here. I'm scared I'm gonna with this new chair that I'm gonna slam it and knock some of this off during an interview or something. I was so paranoid. I was like, while I'm on Joey, if I was to knock this back, that would look so bad. My stock joke for if it happens is this was a rental. The whole set was a rental. So maybe it'll make me look like less of an asshole as I try to put it back on, but I'm not very hopeful. It'll be very, very Borat if that happens in terms of an interview. Anyway, I won't keep you guys all night, man. Just wanted to hop on and talk about NFTs, Uncle Joey, and Kiss at Tribeca Music Festival or Film Festival. Everything's music to me. And by the way, I interviewed somebody today, caught up with somebody who actually happened to be at the Kiss Tribeca event the other night. So that's going to come out in a couple weeks, but you know, I guess the Kiss thing won't be relevant then. But just a little teaser, Uncle Joey wasn't the only big announcement or big taping we did today. And all I want to say is fans of not only Kiss, but also the Beatles, particularly the Beatles. You will be very excited to hear the podcast that we have coming out. So that's all I'm going to say. In and out of here quick. Love you guys. Chat soon.